Hey, what's up guys? How's it going? This is Easy Things to Draw, and it's been a while since I uploaded. I've been kind of busy. Also been, just to be truthful, I've been a little bit burned out just drawing, so much. I had to kind of take a rest. I know what you're thinking, like drawing's what I do for rest, right? But I don't know. It kind of became a little stressing. So, it's good to get back, to be honest. I feel really nice and refreshed, so let's get back into it. I'm going to draw Dr. Robotnik from Sonic. I was kind of on a Sonic spree before I left. I want to start drawing full bodies of characters too. I mean, I'm not going to promise that every time, but I want to start doing more full body stuff. The reason I don't is I think something's very direct when it is just the head. But also this paper doesn't lend itself to that. I have kind of a small table space here. This is just a computer. This is like where the keyboard goes. That's kind of where I film. So anyways, let's do Dr. Robotnik. I'm going to be using a black colored pencil to kind of like go over the structure of him, and then I'm going to draw him in maybe with the same black colored pencil, and then we'll see about coloring after this. Usually just colored pencils. And I'm also going to be using this Copic marker. It's a little bit thick, so we'll see if I stick with it or not. But let's get into it. There's weird because there's several different versions. If you played the Sonic video games, sometimes they'll call him Dr. Robotnik, and then sometimes they'll call him Dr. Eggman. I think one is like in Japan, right? I don't know, but I know in Sonic Adventure they call him Dr. Eggman, and he looks totally different. You know what I mean? I want to draw the version from the that cartoon show. I think it was in the early '90s, where Jaleel White, even though Jaleel White kind of always does Sonic, he did Sonic's voice. He played Urkel in Family Matters. He did Sonic's voice, but it was like kind of a dark cartoon. I have the whole thing on DVD. It was pretty awesome. It was kind of like a storyline that kept going. And right now I'm thinking about this as kind of like almost like a water droplet. He has this everything kind of goes up to a point. So that's kind of the general, like again, if you're trying to think of, think of the simple shapes of what's going to make up this character. And I think of him as one giant water droplet with another one on top. I'm drawing pretty darkly so that you can see this on the paper, and what I'm going to do is after this I'm going to take this paper and slide it underneath the other. Basically has regular sized feet. Yeah, he almost has this kind of like look that my grandpa used to have, where he's got like a big belly, but he's got like regular legs. His legs aren't fat, That's always odd. Sorry about that. I was replying to some messages. I will not do that again. That was crazy. I'll edit that out if I remember. I hope I remember to edit that out. He doesn't have so much shoulder pads. He has this kind of like, it almost doesn't make sense functionally, because his arms are also normal. That's the other thing. They're not very fat arms, they're just normal arms. Very rounded forms. Everything about him is very rounded. Oh, but anywho, I was going to talk about his shoulders are right here. But over his shoulders, he has this other kind of... It's almost like someone took a shoulder pad from like maybe a knight's armor, and they pulled it up and stretched it. So it kind of looks more like it's for fashion than it is for functionality, because I don't think it's going to really protect him all that much. And then we're going to go into his face. I think of, I'm thinking like out very broadly. I think very broadly, and then I go to his face, so then I have to think. I kind of zoom in on his face in my mind, you know. I kind of zoom in, like, okay. And I kind of divide that into little sections, like, how is that going to be, you know, blah, blah, blah. His nose is really close to his eyes, you know, much more than normal. Because normally I like to split it up into thirds between forehead, whatever. But he's very cartoony. So his nose is very, his nose is very, very close to his eyes. His mustache goes up almost like a waterfall, or like someone's squirting water. That's the way I like to think about it. And take your time, even with this level, you know, like if you decide to do it this way, to kind of construct him, like what simple shapes make him up. I do take my time, not always, you know, depends. I don't want to make like a hugely long demo for you guys, but, you know, I mean, I will if I have to, right? Because if it's just the way it is, if that's just a process, I'll do it. So this would be what I would start out with. This would be my structure underneath. And with this, I would have like a good idea of where things are going to be. So let me take this sheet of paper, put it underneath the next one, and now you can kind of see it. You see that? And this is regular paper. This is regular computer paper that I'm drawing on. You know, there's no difference. The only difference is it's kind of bigger. I think it's a tabloid 11 by 17. That would be the biggest difference. Let me sharpen my colored pencil. I don't know if I'm going to use a marker. The marker might be a little bit too thick for this. I might use a pen. But for now, I'm going to stick with the colored pencil and see how that works out with you guys. I'm searching around here. I can't find a thin marker, really thin marker, at least for this scale. So that, again, that's one of my things, you know, it's a little bit harder to draw, to use a marker on something so small. On a head, I can use a marker real easy. So, and this is a little bit more of a complicated character than, let's say, SpongeBob was. Just a little bit more. SpongeBob can be complicated on his own. So, let me see if I have to zoom in the camera here. Alright, so let's start with his head. He always has an angry look, this Robotnik. Always. And he's got a demon-y look, too. He's got, like, red eyes. By the way, please, let me know. It's on DVD. Give me a shout-out if you remember this cartoon, the Sonic cartoon. Obviously, I guess if you're watching this, you do remember it. But tell me what you remember from the show. You know, the actual show. Did you watch all the Sonic cartoons? I watched a couple. Like, I watched this Sonic cartoon. There was another one going almost at the same time. But it was more of a joke. You know, it was more of a joke cartoon. That one was kind of crappy. I mean, it was a really bad show, but I watched it as a little kid. I thought this one was serious. I watched Sonic, what's the one where he had brothers? Or something like that, brother and a sister, and they're like in a band? I think it was called Sonic Underground. That one sucked pretty, I don't know, in my opinion, that one sucked pretty bad. I did not like that one. I don't think it lasted, really. I saw Sonic X, that wasn't even that long ago. They still sell those DVDs a lot. That one's kind of cool. Sonic X is pretty cool. Do you have any other Sonic cartoons I'm missing? I thought there was a bunch, right? Throughout the years. Oh, I also saw like a Sonic movie where he was fighting Mecha Sonic. It was an anime. That was pretty badass. That was one of the first like anime movies I'd ever seen. If it is anime, considered anime, I'm not sure. He's got kind of a pointy nose. Robotnik, he's got every characteristic of like a villain, you know what I mean? Like the angry eyes, the pointy nose, that kind of typical like witch villain kind of thing. Pulling back here. He's got the big brow too. You know, the brow, like, almost like a Neanderthal. Again, his mustache is going to really be a big part of his character. Pull it up there. So right now we're doing line art with pencil, you know, and this is like just a generic colored pencil. I mean, generic, not just generic. This colored pencil sucks, by the way. I wanna like say that this Rose Art brand, at least maybe I don't know if they changed, but I do not like this brand at all. I'd rather have like Prismacolor. That's a good brand. I don't want to talk smack, sorry, but I'm gonna. But I'm just trying to pull it very similar to the way I pull the pen. I want to keep more of as much of the tip as I can. Because these things have a habit of dulling really hardcore, you know. Just to let you know what else is coming this week, I'm going to go over a couple of my old sketchbooks and just show you them, you know, just to kind of look back. Maybe my progress, or, you know what I really hate is looking through old sketchbooks and I see something that's better than what I do now. I hate that, yeah, because that will happen sometimes. But I want to go through some of my old sketch. I don't have my really old sketchbooks. I wanted to go through my really old, when I first started drawing. I really wish I had those. I don't have them. I just threw them all out. Because those would have been really a much better example of, you know, changing through the time. Drawing his mustache here. Still trying to keep my line weight cleanish, you know. Trying to stay clean. That's really the biggest thing I'm thinking in my mind right now. Stay clean. And he's got like that, again, villain smile laugh. So his teeth are all giant and jaggedy. He's gonna have that big mouth to smile with. Whew. Also, just to remind you guys, if you guys have any suggestions for the channel, or let's say what you want me to draw, I got a big list. I gotta get to that. There's a list, like there's all kinds of suggestions on what to draw, so I'll try to get to that. I made suggestions for the channel. You know, I'm doing, I am already doing a critique of it's called Critique Corner, every Sunday. I should do more questionnaires though, like where I answer them verbally, you know. If you guys have any other suggestions though, let me know. I was almost thinking about, what's that thing called when you do like a live, what do you call that? Google does it? I'm sorry, it's escaping me. You know, where I'm drawing live with you guys, or in front of you guys, or something like that. I think like a chat session? I don't know what that's called, but let me know. Maybe something like that, if you guys would like that. I wanna just improve this channel as much as I can in general, really, just because lately I've been concerned with like the quality of things, you know, and I'm still learning about everything. Wow, that mouth down there. He's got like an underbite. That thing comes out a little bit. And he's got that big fat face. Big fat face. Robotnik face. Maybe I should dress like him for Halloween. That'd be cool. Trying to keep my line weight decent. Decently decent. So I got his head down. Let me zoom out so I can go over the body with you guys. Let's see. Yeah, right there. Cool. Alright. So, right around his neck, he's going to have like a thin little collar thing. And that really doesn't take any effort, right? You just throw an extra line, same as the line that was below. If you want, I can throw his tongue in there. Put the darker portion of his mouth by darkening that in. Gonna throw the, see, this is a good example of why you should get an underlay. I'm gonna throw his little weird armor thing. I'm gonna grow it a little bit. See, I don't have to guess the proportion at the same time as figuring out how I'm gonna draw it. You know what I mean? I only need to think of one thing. That's so much better for me. Not just proportion of like placement, really like where it is. got some armor, so I'm gonna put a little kind of like rivet there, like they built him. Little joint. Another little joints right there. Going down right here. What do you call that? Wristband? I'm not sure what to call it. Anyways, drawing his hand. He has his hand kind of out sometimes. You can draw his hand any way you want, really. I drew it all stringy and cartoony, but, you know, doesn't have to be like that. Nah. Put some joints into those hands there, like he's a robot. More of a simplified robots are like that. You know, they draw them like that. Anything with things turning. You going down to his body, and kind of the edge of his body, he wears kind of this leotard. He really shouldn't wear this. You know, when you see Superman and Batman, stuff like that, in suits, in like tight spandex, they're buff, right? But Dr. Robotnik is not buff. So, but he's wearing something similar. He's wearing some kind of leotard thing. Continuing here, drawing the front of his gut. The lines, see how the line's a little bit thicker than there? That's a mistake on my part. I shouldn't have done that. I want to make the line very even all over. I'm going to draw the other side of his armored thing. I don't know what that is. Kind of shoulder armor. I should have pulled that back a little bit. I'm going to do that actually. I'm going to get an eraser, pull that back. Drawing his other arm. Have his hands over there again, like he's got his hand behind his back. They had a comic too, I believe, of the two Eggman designs meeting. Do you remember that? I think they have it on they have the picture on the internet. If I can put the picture in here, I'll do it. But if I can find it, it's weird. You don't realize how different designs are until you really see them like next to each other, and then it's like, whoa. Personally, I like the Eggman design a lot better. This design always seemed kind of gross to me. It seemed all chunky. I don't know, what design did you like? Do you have a favorite design? Any of you guys out there? They have kind of a circular pattern on the front of his suit. It's really just a pattern, really. It's nothing major. Going down to his foot. He has these really high, like, shoes. They almost look like long sneakers or something. But they're pretty simple. Like, they're not, like, super hard to draw. Pretty simplified, a lot of simple shapes on them. The front is a different color than the back. The other foot, that same. I'm gonna sharpen my pencil. He also has a cape, which I thought was a little odd. In this design, he's got like a little tiny cape too. It's not huge or anything. So you kind of have to put remnants of it in the back, really, because it's barely showing. You know what I mean? So you have to, maybe shading it in there would be a good idea. So for this demo, I'm going to stick with the black and white line art of him. I might make a color version. I might make a version where I literally just start coloring him. So let me know if you want that or not. I'm going to be using colored pencils, obviously, to color. So, okay, in terms of the line art, though, let's stick with the line art right now. You're kind of like going like, this is my preliminary line art. So I look at my line, right? So what do I do next? I want to make this presentable to somebody that doesn't really draw. That's the point. You're not trying to show this to other guys that draw. Not always. You know, the idea is to show somebody that doesn't really know how to draw, and they can still tell what it is. They don't care what work you put into it. Normally, you know, another artist really cares what you put into it. I feel like normal people don't really care. They just think it's instantaneous. They're not really sure, you know. So I usually put like a little shadow pattern below, especially when I'm going to keep it black and white. And I start to maybe think of the lines and try to even the lines out that I might have messed up. Like this line's too thick right here. I could either thin it down or try to make some of these other lines on the same side a little bit thicker to kind of balance that out as well. What I usually do is I go through the outer contour of almost everything, and I try to darken or thicken those lines for the outer contour. I made the outer contour of nearly everything, you know. Or whatever's on front, it's another thing. His focal point, the focal point is clearly almost always on the face. That's where you first look with almost any character design, unless they're, you know, there's exceptions to every rule, but usually you look at their face or their armor or something like that. So you're just trying to clean things up. You're cleaning things up usually for your own sake. Okay, for example, let me add a little bit of shadow here because his arms are hanging over the side of his stomach here. I'll add like a little bit of shadow, and that's just a presentation thing. Not really thinking about it per se. It's just a presentation thing. I might add that over here under the leg a little bit. Maybe over here under the armor, because the armor's kind of floating off his chest in some ways. I'll think of the blacks that are in his design. You know, his pants are black, so I might shade that in to kind of get that across. If you're going to leave a drawing, try to think about it if you have to turn it in, you know. Leave it in a state where it's presentable at least, you know. You're like, all right, I can at least show this, you know what I mean? and they'll kind of know what's going on. They'll know what's going on in the picture. It doesn't have to be like amazing or anything, but you know. Anyways, that is Dr. Robotnik from the 90s cartoon. I'm going to be doing the other version, hopefully, and I'll show you guys tomorrow. So I'll see you guys soon. Let me know if you have any feedback. Post whatever feedback you have below.